try again to see perhaps we can have a successful 30 minutes or more live section. And let me know where you're watching from. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are here, my name is Sharon, and Sharon from Beading Crush. And in this channel, we'll talk about beads, beading, and everything beading worthy. It is our way of having fun, way of calming down. Is our own therapy, and is our way of also fulfilling purpose. So let me know the kind of craft that you love, and maybe we can apply what we. As I stated earlier, I said beading is a hobby, and it's something that to I work to you know calm myself down. It helps me to process so many things. As moms, I have 9 to 5. You also have a place to fulfill purpose, and that is where beading comes in. So let me know if you understand, and let's get right in beading projects that you didn't finish, and what was wrong with them and how to fix them. That is just in a nutshell of what we're going to talk. Some obviously there are some beads that you never got to finish, and the reason why you couldn't finish them could be one or two reasons. Either the pattern did not sit right, or something was just wrong with it, or it seemed like the color combo did not align. Maybe you have gone halfway into it and now realize that this kind of project is not something I can gift a friend. So either you completed it and you realize that it doesn't seem right, or along the line you've gone too far and it doesn't just sound right, so you decided to pause for a while. So perhaps that is the kind of beading that you have been working on. Hello, welcome to my channel. At the same time, is also a way of fulfilling purpose too. Yes. So let me know where you're chatting us from. Let me know where you're chatting, where you're watching from, and hi. Thank you so much for being here. So this is a project I made some time ago. I made something like this some time ago. And this project, I just realized that I was able to finish this one because while I was working on it, it seemed right. It seemed to be something that I can gift someone. Unlike this one, let me get this one. I think I have shared it on this timeline before. I've shared it. Unlike this one that doesn't look very straight, you notice something is wrong with it. And for you to know something is wrong with this one, it means that I couldn't just finish it because obviously so so maybe it didn't sit right. So because of that, so he made it wavy, he made it. But then when you put it on, realize that the thing is really fine and okay. Aligning it with your hand, you tend to do that all the time, which is not a very good practice. So I didn't feel comfortable. It's fine though, but I didn't feel comfortable giving it out as a gift because of obvious reasons. See, it is fine. It's looking fine when you wear it, but then you see the wobbly nature and the on uneven, and is not straight enough. So I decided I cannot give this kind of big project to a loved one. That is why I had to. It is still with me till date. So, and the other project that I started off along the line, I just realized that no, 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 this is a no, no. Do not get me wrong. When you bead, you are trying to blow off steam. When you bead, it's a sort of therapy. You are trying to also fulfill purpose. Perhaps you're just beading, you're starting off beading as a hobby. Now you want to, move further to making. So before you get to the level of making it a business, somehow you must have there must be something that make you go back to beading, because once you leave beading, it leaves you. I told you it's a form of therapy. If you leave it, it leaves you. After a while, you get back to it and continue from where you left off. With everything that we are passing through life, so many things in our homes is just a way of blowing steam and still living for another day. So let me know if you understand, because a lot of us are passing through one thing or the other, and they just need to daily get by. Let me know if this is something you can relate to, and give it a thumbs up. And if it's possible to talk about few things, because this live session, part of the reason is to just share the things that are relatable that we can talk about. So as I told you, when I was working on this project, it it's right. Something just wasn't right. Although when I started off, like I was, getting it, I was doing well, until I started adding the embellishment, what made it sparkle and shine. I just realized things started becoming wavy and wonky. And of course, I lost a little bit of interest, but I mustered the courage to complete the project. After completing it, till date, it's still staying till date. So I cannot throw it away. I cannot do anything. But sometimes when I look at it, I'll be like, okay, this is a mistake I made, and this is something that I have learned from those mistakes. We move, right? We move. At any point in your life, do not get to the point of saying, okay, this mistake stays with me. I cannot get past it. You must decide to move past it. Mistakes remain mistakes when you do not want to move, but they are mistakes from a perspective, something you are learning from, something that has given you the strength to move further when you have learned from it and you do not want to go back to it again. For every mistake you learn, you have the decision to choose whether to dwell there or to move on. And when you dwell there, it means that you pick the basic basic lesson. You didn't want to make it something. You didn't want to make something out of it. But if you decide to move further, it means that you have learned what you have to learn. Of course, a similar thing happening to you in your life, it will not be easy for you to fall, because you have experienced something like this, and it's a mistake that you have learned, and you it will not be likely that you fall in it same another time. So that is why mistakes are allowed as far as we learn from it. And of course, it has also built in the relating it to my bidding work. It has also taught me how this always end up any day I'm working on something like this. Of course, I'm not going to choose the bead sizes that I choose for the project. So what we are doing today, we are talking about common bead issues, bead challenges, bead falls, what caused them, and how to fix them without venting up so much frustration. You know the common challenges, and you know the solutions, and you know how to handle them. Do not forget, remember that we are trying to fulfill purpose. We are trying to, build our way through life. Why fulfilling purpose, is a way of therapy. Perhaps as a mom, 9 to 5, overwhelming chaos, overwhelming issues at home, you're always doing one thing or the other. You never have time for yourself. Even creating time for yourself seems as if it is a crime, right? So you can also, build yourself while you are walking through life. Because life waits for no one and you need to fulfill purpose. So you must not, at no point in your life must you stop and say, oh, I have gotten to the point of my life, I cannot continue any longer. Because life waits for no one. And with life, you must fulfill purpose. Well, that is what I feel that has been working for me. And there is no frustration when you are bidding because bidding takes patience. When you strong way to getting there, there is a gradual thing. So and it's oddly satisfying as you bid one point. Before you know it halfway, you realize that the thing is aligning and is looking right, is looking fine. And you feel good that, oh, this is the work of my hands. This is something I actually did. I can't believe I did this. You understand? So that is how it feels. So psychologically, it's coming into just be telling you that, oh, little drops of water makes an ocean, and you continue that. So let's get onto the challenges and talk about possible solutions. The first challenge that most of the time we encounter is maybe your design doesn't look right? So sometimes, as I told you, I have had few experiences that said your design doesn't look right. It could be because the colors are just clashing right front and center. It could be because you pick wrong bead sizes. It could be because you're really not focused. So you didn't really sit down to think about the beads that you wanted to use. So I have a solution, and my solution I always tell you for the clashing colors. The easy way is go for color wheels. Just pick your beads. So as I said, the the for the clashing colors, you just go for your color wheel, pick complementary colors, and pick colors there, and colors, and pick colors there, and sandwich them with neutral tones like gold, silver, or black, stuff like that. Then lay out the colors are on a flat surface before stringing them. Follow a rule that you have in mind. String one, two in between a neutral color, just like that. Then you may use a focal color to guide your design. So this really works well. That is when you are doing a very simple design. And as I told you earlier, when you make simple piece, people really understand structure easily, and people understand your line of thought most of the time. So that is one of the first challenges we always used to encounter when we're making beads. If you're also familiar with making beads, you realize that along the line sometimes your bead breaks, especially when you're passing through a tiny hole in the bead, or when you're using, or the bead itself has so haircut beads, they have a sharp cut, they don't have a smooth finish. So because of that, it is very difficult to guide how you thread through them. You have to be very careful, else they will cut your thread in mid beading. So as I said, why it happens maybe because you have sharp beads, the tension is too tight, the cord is weak, or the thread, the passage is really tight, So something like that could happen. So of course, now that you know why this could happen, a simple solution follows the why, and that is you check your tension to ensure that what you are using, um, the needle can pass through the bead easily. Get me? Hope you do not forget that we are trying to you know we are trying to walk through our situations. It's a way of therapy, right? As I told you, grow in patience. It really helps for tempered. It helps you walk through issues while you are building because you build one at a time. And it's oddly satisfying when you have seen that you have gotten something that looks fine. Understand? So back to the challenge. You realize that Once the bead allow passage of thread back and forth, most times you need to. If you don't do that on time, it means that in between, once you want to pass back to it again, you won't be able to because the tension becomes tight. Then beads that are too heavy for some threads, so definitely to cut it. Then when the sharp beads you pass through it and you're not very careful, it will cut the thread. Then also when there are some times you are done with your project, unfortunately you crimp it, you crimp, you have a crimp cover. Oh, I have a crimp cover that I want to show you, and you do not crimp it well. Sometimes the sharp edge of the crimp cover could cut your thread, and this is that I've completed this bead, and I'm so excited how it turned out. Right, so if it breaks, the solution is you knot both ends and cover the knot with a decorative cream cover. So I'm trying to let you know, for instance, this one. While I was working out, I just completed the bead. I just needed to, all I needed to do was to crimp. So along the line, that was how the the crimp the crimp the cream bead that I had just cut the thread, and I was almost at the edge, and the thread was so short. So it means that I have to start all over again. So in such cases like that, what I did was I picked another cream bead and clamped it there so that the beads will not fall off. Then I started thinking of how to manage the remaining thread for this. So once I was done with it, I added a cream cover to it to cover up that mistake. You understand? So because it's a work of your hand, the possibility that you can always, get back to it and cover up these things is there. So let us go to the third challenge that you always face. Sometimes you realize that your beads will start slipping off while you are working. You know, the bead will slip off as you have strung in a whole number of beads. All of a sudden, the thing slip off. This is simply you didn't attach a stopper. We call it stopper here. A cream bead. You didn't attach a cream bead to it. So always put a stop bead to the beginning of your or fishing line so that you can string in a whole lot of beads. Bead mat to control the beads, how they move, fall, all over the place. So once you have that, start with a stop bead or you have a binder clip, use that. Then second, if you don't have a bead mat, do not kill yourself. Just get a towel and place your beads. It will prevent the loss of these beads falling off. Then the last challenge that we are going to talk about is maybe you lost track of the pattern and somehow it's not looking weird, right? Sometimes there are some bead patterns that you bead and bead and bead and bead. It takes so much time, and now we are bidding without breaks. You don't have, there is no visual plan, or you are lost in thoughts. You are thinking about a certain painful situation, so sometimes you just lose track of what you are doing. So the thing is that I always advise, if I start bidding, I sketch out my pattern before I even begin. Then secondly, I have beading mat or beading tray. So if you have a mini tray, put a towel in it. If you don't have a bead mat, to organize your sections, to know if I finish this one, then I'll look at the sketch again and like. Then thirdly, you need to take breaks. Take breaks of maybe 30 to double check what you are. So if you have that mindset, it will change your perspective. So that is where we are wrapping up today. I have limited time, and thank you so much for being here with me. Have fun beading. Maybe we may do another live section where we'll talk about few other issues about beading, beading with and beading. While you're beading, you have a mistake along the line. You make a mistake along the line, want to correct it. But for now, that is the end. This is the end of we have come to the end of our live section. Thank you so much for watching. Watch out for another live section where we'll talk deep, where we'll delve deep into this situation, and perhaps we can bead real time while we are having a live section. Have fun and see ya always. Shoes, auf Wiedersehen, and bye. Yes.